These days, people will do just about anything for online attention. Faking cancer, faking your own death, assaulting people, drowning the homeless. The list goes on and on and on. And today I want to highlight a cohort of these clout seekers who, in my book, are some of the worst. The Clout Contaminators. From poisoning produce with bug spray, to licking and slobbering on unpurchased deodorant, to OnlyFans creators pissing in Petco fish tanks. Today we'll be exploring the disturbingly rich history of people contaminating food and endangering the public in the process, all for online fame. And I couldn't think of a better place to start than the Lickers. In your local grocery store freezer aisle lurks dark entities born of pure chaos. Their only purpose? To spread fear, plague, and mononucleosis. These are the ice cream lickers.
Lick it. Oh, you foul. Put it back.
Opening it, licking it, poking his finger in it, and then putting it back on the shelf.
Let's begin with the discoverer of ice cream licking itself, a teenager who, because of her experimentation, potentially landed a criminal record. The date is June 28, 2019. The epidemic would begin where many other communicable diseases have gotten their start, at a Walmart supercenter, specifically the one in Lufkin, Texas. Things seemed relatively normal at Walmart on this particular day. The line to the one singular cashier stretched around the store, the floor is mottled with a sticky residue of unknown origin, and the morbidly obese ride courtesy mobility scooters leisurely around the premises. It was a seemingly idyllic day at Wally World. But deep within the labyrinth of aisles that is Walmart's grocery department, a demonic force was lurking in the chilled halls of the frozen pizza and ice cream section. There was a licker among us. Manifesting from the shadows, the foul licker and her camera-wielding henchmen strike without warning, setting in motion what would become a nationwide controversy.
Lick it. Oh, you foul. Put it back. Oh.
The licking was swift and merciless. The contaminated cream was placed back on the shelf, ready to infect an unsuspecting customer. This degenerate dairy defilement would later be posted to the internet by its clout-seeking perpetrators. The duo likely thinking they were on the fast track to social media stardom. Around the same time, a screenshot surfaced, seemingly showing the perpetrator bragging about her frosty foray into grocery contamination. You can call it Flu Bell ice cream now, cause I was a little sick last week. And while her and her accomplices' act certainly got attention, the social reaction was visceral and one of almost unanimous dismay and outrage.
So nasty. A young woman is seen on video licking a container of ice cream and putting it back in the store freezer.
And now it appears we have a new dumbass viral trend, and that is tampering with things in grocery stores.
Bell Creamery says it is working with police to find a woman who was caught on camera licking the inside of a container of ice cream before putting it back into a grocery store freezer. They're taking this very seriously.
Bluebell, whose cream got its ice ussy licked, issued a statement calling the incident a malicious act of food tampering. A police investigation would be opened, and the ice cream lickers soon found themselves some of the most wanted fugitives in the United States. While police were trying to figure out who was behind the video, there were copycats coming up left and right. These folks in search of easy clicks and unafraid of the shame that comes with it. And thus, before you knew it, ice cream licking was a bona fide trend among social media's best and brightest.
Wait, hurry up. Get ice cream. Let me taste it. All right, hurry up, put it back. Hurry up, put it back. Come on, let's run.
As a result of the ice cream licker trend, Bluebell had some of its ice cream supply pulled from several locations, and grocery chains even employed armed security guards and police to defend their ice cream stock, a coalition of protectors I like to call the Dessert Defense Force. So considering all of this madness, what would become of the confectionery culprits that started the ice cream licking epidemic? You know, the girl in the footage and the guy behind the camera. Well, Lufkin, Texas police, with the help of Walmart, managed to gain access to surveillance video footage that was taken the day of the licking. And when combined with some social media forensics, cops were eventually able to nail down those responsible. The girl in question was found to be a 17-year-old from San Antonio, Texas, who had been staying in the Lufkin area at the time with her boyfriend. The two were potentially facing second-degree felony charges of tampering with a consumer product, which came with a potential prison sentence of 2 to 20 years and fines if convicted. Because the girl was a minor at the time, her name wasn't disclosed, and the case was sealed tighter than a current-day container of Bluebell ice cream. We don't know if she was ever prosecuted. Oh, and by the way, remember the Bluebell tweet? Police actually used this as a lead at one point, only to find out that it was issued from a fake account. And I really wish this was a real post, and I wish she did caption this because Bluebell? That's a brilliant pun. As I just mentioned, the camera-toting boyfriend was considered for charges as well. But what you gotta know is he was an adult, and I think it's fair to contemplate giving him charges. I mean, he can literally be heard in the video encouraging the minor to lick it.
Lick it, lick it. Oh, you foul, put it back, put it back.
Despite the man's sinister involvement in the molestation of this tub of Bluebell, from what I can gather, he never faced any formal charges regarding the incident. So we've got a minor with a sealed case and a cameraman who narrowly escaped justice. All things considered, the progenitors of ice cream licking got off easy. But the same cannot be said for their many copycat offspring who would emerge from the gutters of social media in the coming months and years. Meet 36-year-old Lenise Lloyd Martin III. This man would make headlines and be held criminally liable for a licking and fingering incident involving a tub of ice cream back in 2019. The felonious foray began on a sweltering 96-degree July day in southeast Louisiana. Lenise and some of his cohorts enter the Big B's Market located off Highway 1 in the town of Belrose, presumably to cool off and grab a few refreshments before hitting the road again. However, Lenise had ulterior motives upon entering this grocery oasis. You see, Lenise's mind had been warped. Not by summer heat, but by the social media mania started by the Bluebell Walmart ice cream incident. This aspiring Louisianian licker had plans to plant his own contagion and upload it to the web. When the coast was clear, Lenise and his criminal accessory struck, deflowering a tub of ice cream with unconsented licking and digital probing. The creamy assault would later be published online for all to see. The Bluebell tub was violated without warning, and Lenise would quickly leave the scene of his dastardly ice cream diddle session. But he wouldn't escape consequence. Considering Lenise posted his Bluebell contamination video to his very own Facebook page, all it took for him to get caught were a few concerned locals watching it and reporting him. And Lenise Lloyd Martin III soon found himself under investigation for getting to third base with a tub of ice cream. When confronted by the cops, Lenise told them it wasn't what it looked like. Wanting to question the man, Lenise would later meet with investigators at the Big B's grocery store where his licking and prodding took place. He told the dairy detectives that the entire ordeal was a big misunderstanding. Lenise would admit to licking the ice cream, but he claimed that he actually purchased it afterwards and took it home, essentially making the case that he was creating a hoax video in an effort to go viral and that nobody was actually in danger of accidentally receiving his sloppy seconds. The man even had a Big B's receipt from the day of the incident, timestamped at 1:22 p.m., which gave proof of purchase for one Bluebell gold rim container of ice cream bought at $5.50, seemingly giving credence to the idea that this was indeed a big joke and, that he had purchased the ice cream and taken it home. However, police weren't satisfied. Officers came to the conclusion that the fingering and licking of the ice cream took place before Lenise had purchased it. This, combined with the fact that the Big B's store had to dispose of dozens of Bluebell tubs out of fear of selling customers a contaminated one, police felt they had no other choice than to bring this guy in. Lenise would be arrested and taken into custody, charged with unlawful posting of criminal activity for notoriety and publicity, and 1 count of criminal mischief for tampering with property.
Lenise Martin III is facing charges after Assumption Parish authorities received a tip from a grocery store in Belrose over the weekend. Someone recorded Martin pulling a carton of Bluebell ice cream from a freezer, opening it, licking it, poking his finger in it, and then putting it back on the shelf. Martin told detectives that he actually bought that container of ice cream, but he was still arrested and will be in court today for a bond hearing.
Police commented on the man's arrest. Quote, "He was basically a copycat. At the time when he tampered with the goods, he had not bought them, so our position is that he clearly didn't own the container of ice cream that he opened and stuck his finger into and licked. Therefore, he was tampering with the product." Later, on November 21st, 2019, Lenise would plead guilty, and the judge would order him to pay over $300 in fines, which could be waived if he performed 34 hours of community service. As far as I'm aware, Lenise was actually the first criminally prosecuted person involved in the ice cream licking social media trend. Now that's something to tell your grandkids right there. When he got out of jail, the lascivious licker spoke to the media, and while he was relatively chill about the entire situation, it seemed that he did feel it was a bit blown out of proportion.
Martin says his actions shouldn't have landed him behind bars with murderers and real criminals.
I didn't even see how they could put that together. It's saying I took it out there, licked it, and put it back. And none of that happened on the video. You never saw me take it out there, or you never saw me put it back. You know what I'm saying? When the video came on, it was in my hand. When the video went off, I was leaning to put it back, but you never saw me actually put it back.
Now, according to employees of Big B's, Martin's actions did cause them to destroy 48 half tubs of the ice cream for the safety of the public.
Thankfully for everyone, the ice cream licking trend died about as quickly as it rose to prominence, melting away in the spring of 2020. Though, considering this threat to public safety was essentially replaced by COVID-19, there was little time to celebrate the death of one of the internet's most obnoxious trends.
You know, it kind of looks like somebody spit in this. Fuck it. A situation that's far more dangerous than having your ice cream spit or licked on is having your identity stolen. To be honest, your likelihood of that happening is probably higher than you think. I mean, right now, your full name, email, phone number, home address, and date of birth are likely floating around on the internet, and you have opportunistic data brokers to thank for that. Today's sponsor, Incogni, can help you find this information and get it removed from the web for good. Incogni does the hard work for you, tracking down the data brokers who have your info online and submitting information removal requests on your behalf. When I signed up for Incogni and did my first scan, I was shocked to see how much of my personally identifying info was out there on the web. Incogni indicated 245 instances of my personally identifying information being out there, and they sent requests to take down each occurrence. Within a few days, they got my data off the internet for good, and many of the data brokers were compelled to add me to a suppression list, meaning that they wouldn't be able to get my data in the future. Look, I'm telling you guys, ice cream lickers, they're not top priority. You need to be worried about your identity getting jacked. Incogni can help, and you will be stunned at how much of your info is out there after your first scan. Take back your personal data with Incogni. You guys can click the link below in the description and use code WavyWebSurf at checkout to get 60% off an annual plan. Now, let me get back to my ice cream here. I think I'm gonna go to Walmart and lick on some tubs.
Unfortunately, what you will soon find in today's video is that the ice cream lickers are small fries in the world of contaminating food for social media attention. Next, we move on to one of the most prolific clout contaminators in internet history. Meet 27-year-old Charles Smith, a self-proclaimed troll and social media supervillain who goes by the name Wolfie Coletti on TikTok. This twisted troublemaker has racked up over 300,000 followers thanks to a collection of truly egregious videos, showcasing him committing harmful pranks and actual crimes.
Tacos in the egg roll. Hey. Money, sand, everybody.
Oh, and he was earning ad revenue from these videos in the ballpark of anywhere between $6,000 to $10,000 a month at his peak. For those of you clocking into a 9 to 5, doesn't that make you just want to go fucking postal?
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
Wolfie's self-given title as social media supervillain is unfortunately quite accurate. This little fucker has a catalog of content that is so outrageously diabolical that it would make Prime-era Boonk Gang blush. Here's just a small sampling of some of Wolfie's greatest hits.
Pulling a fire alarm at Wendy's. Stealing a mannequin head and putting it in a fast food fryer. Throwing cake at people in a mall. Locking people inside a store.
No, you guys are locked in there.
Putting bacon and eggs in a stranger's drying clothes. And throwing a dead pigeon at a fast food worker.
Now, while all of that stuff would probably earn you a dark alley visit from Batman, the crime we're about to discuss would have the entire internet and law enforcement teaming up like the Avengers to stop this guy. It all begins at a Walmart in Mesa, Arizona. Charles Smith, acting under his villainous alter ego Wolfie Coletti, enters the store with a heinous plot in mind. His mission was to poison the food supply. He makes his way to Walmart's supply of pesticides, picks up a canister of Hot Shot Ultra Bedbug and Flea Killer, and then makes his way to the produce department to enact his sinister plan. With his phone camera rolling, he documents his horrible contamination. The psychopathic TikToker douses his chemical weapon on everything, from bananas, acorn squash, potatoes, lemons, green apples, Roma tomatoes, a rotisserie chicken. It was a cornucopia of toxic chemicals. The wanton act undoubtedly putting innocent members of the public at extreme risk for poisoning. Taking a look at the label of Hot Shot's bedbug and flea killer certainly spells out the danger of the situation here. Kills insects on contact. Harmful if absorbed through skin. People and pets should not be allowed in treated area until spray has dried. It is a violation of federal law to use this product in a way inconsistent with its labeling. Yeah, it's certainly not something you want on your hands or in your mouth. And given the insidious and inconspicuous nature of the way he did this, it's very likely that someone could pick up these grocery items, eat them, and get sick. Like, imagine if a child got a hold of one of those vegetables. Though Mr. Smith cared little for the safety of others, he just wanted clicks and views. Soon after deploying his biohazard contaminant, he published the video to TikTok. But even for his degenerate audience, this was crossing the line. People began flooding into the comment section in disgust. Some suggested others contact law enforcement, and this threat apparently gave pause to the degenerate influencer. It's reported that after Charles witnessed an increasing amount of pushback in his comment section, he made an effort to return to the store and collect the contaminated rotisserie and produce. He would also unsurprisingly delete the video to try to cover his tracks. Though his efforts to obfuscate his crimes were in vain. Someone had fortunately screen recorded his video and sent it to the Maricopa County Police. Detectives opened an investigation, and the Walmart was notified regarding what had happened. Mesa Walmart had to discard $930 worth of food, and it was believed that some of the sprayed produce may have been purchased. Because of this truly sickening chemical attack, Charles Smith, the supervillain of TikTok, became a wanted criminal.
Walmart is also aware of that video, telling us they've removed all that food that was sprayed. The video apparently taken by the suspect himself. everyone had the same reaction.
That's really crazy.
It's disgusting. Like, that's an awful thing to do.
Video appears to show this man at a Mesa Walmart pull out a big can of bug killer and spray it on bananas, sweet potatoes, lemons, apples, tomatoes, and even rotisserie chickens.
I'm shocked.
It happened at this Mesa Walmart. Frequent shoppers like Ramon Sobranes can't believe anyone would do this.
This is where people shop for their families, like on a real note. Like, it's very possible that those bananas a mom could have been grabbing by to get some for her kids.
Charges were brought against Smith, including a felony for tampering with produce. And on December 21st of 2024, under mounting public pressure, Smith turned himself into police.
You have your name and date of birth?
Charles Smith. In an MCSO orange jumpsuit, Charles Smith, who goes by Wolfie Coletti on social media, was in court for the second time in just a few days. Already arrested in Mesa over the weekend, where police say he took this can of bug and flea killer off the shelf at a Walmart and sprayed the pesticide on produce that was on sale for anyone to buy.
TikTok supervillain was now made to face justice, and the state was not only throwing the book at him, they were throwing the shoe, the flip-flop, and spraying this pest of a human for good measure. In court, Charles was forced not only to reckon with his raid spraying charge, but he was also hit with retroactive charges stemming from his prior online postings. Around this time, he pled guilty to a charge related to causing criminal damage, and more charges of a similar nature were added to his rap sheet, raising his bond to $10,000, compelling Charles to spend Christmas in county jail. Well deserved, as someone was probably at home unwittingly cooking up some sweet potato casserole marinated in flea killer for their Christmas feast. About a month later, in January of 2025, Smith would be indicted by grand jury for multiple charges related to the Walmart raid incident, including 1 count of burglary in the 3rd degree, a Class 4 felony, 2 counts of adding poison or other harmful substance to water, food, drink, or medicine, a Class 6 felony, 1 count of endangerment, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of criminal damage, a Class 1 misdemeanor as well. The man is now facing 5 to 20 years in prison for his activities. The case of Charles Smith, aka Wolfie Coletti, is ongoing and is a harrowing example of the lengths people will go to for online fame and notoriety. Hopefully this guy gets a lengthy stay in the pen, and perhaps someone will contaminate his prison slop with something even worse than insect killer. You know, perhaps maybe a bodily fluid or something of that nature. Make that corn extra creamy. Speaking of bodily fluids, next we move to another Clout Contaminator who seemingly claimed to have seasoned his customer's Doordash order with his penis. This story takes place on July 12, 2021, beginning after a short clip was uploaded to Facebook by the user So Certified. The real name of the creator was anonymous at the time. So, what was in the clip? Well, it showed a Doordash driver opening up someone's order containing a Chipotle burrito bowl. He fingers it a bit with his grubby hands and inserts a paper note into the food, clumsily placing it under the shredded cheese and lettuce. The following text was written on the note: "Hope that dick tastes good, bitch."
The video is disgusting. This is a Doordash delivery man sticking a note inside a Chipotle container, contaminating the meal.
Now, the obvious implication with this cheeky video is that the Doordash driver wanted the person receiving the meal to eat it and then find the note at the bottom and be mortified, thinking that they ate a cock-contaminated burrito bowl, which would obviously be extremely distressing. But putting that aside, Mr. Doordash driver, even if you didn't put your dick and balls in my burrito bowl, you did in fact finger the fuck out of my cheese and lettuce. And considering the intelligence of someone who would do something this stupid, I wouldn't be surprised if you wipe your ass with your bare hands. Like, I don't want you touching my lunch, dude. This is disgusting even without your dick touching it. Now, you might be asking, why did this individual want the person they were delivering food to think they were eating a burrito bowl with dick skin residue? Well, you only need to look at the caption posted below the original video to answer that question. Quote, "You know I'm about to violate the shit out of this order, 61st Precinct. I dreamed of moments like this. God, you've been so good to me, like I don't know how to repay you. Yep, the DoorDash order was placed by a policeman, specifically one working at the 61st Precinct Station on Coney Island Avenue in Sheepshead Bay, New York City. This guy had beef with the police, and his reasoning for disliking them will become more apparent later in the story. Meanwhile, the clip of the driver tampering with the burrito bowl went viral online. People were furious. Not long after it going viral, DoorDash would issue a statement claiming that they had actually identified the individual and banned the driver from using their service. Quote, "This behavior is absolutely unacceptable and has no place in our community. We take the trust and respect of merchants, customers, and Dashers extremely seriously. We have deactivated the Dasher and have reached out to the customer involved." Unquote. The man's identity would be passed over to law enforcement, who hopefully didn't ingest the fabled fingered burrito bowl. On July 15, 2021, disgraced DoorDash driver 30-year-old Lance Lane was pinned as the culprit, arrested and charged with attempted assault on a police officer, tampering of a consumer product, and criminal tampering. Lane has a lengthy criminal history, and it would make sense for him to dislike police, as they have repeatedly held him accountable for illegal activity over the years. According to a report from the New York Post, Lane was a known member of the Bloods. He reportedly had 7 prior arrests, one of which involved him being suspected of an attempted murder of a NYPD officer. Lane was actually out on parole at the time of the DoorDash incident for aggravated assault of a police or peace officer, being released from prison in November of 2019. Now, I couldn't think of a more idiotic way of potentially violating your parole than fucking with the cop's burrito bowl.
Yo, you're back already, man? What happened? I said I put my dick in a burrito bowl to own the police.
Good one, dude. After questioning, the man was seen by the media being let out of the Brooklyn police station in handcuffs. Journalists asked him questions, and Lance, the alleged takeout tamperer, denied the allegations that he had contaminated food, claiming that it was simply a prank gone awry.
Did you put something in the food?
Definitely didn't. It was a prank. They don't got no notes. I got nothing against them.
From what I'm able to ascertain, I don't believe this incident actually caused Lane to violate his parole, but he did lose his job as a delivery driver at the very least. Overall, this is just such a stupid stunt to pull. There are so many elements of this prank that trace your actions back to you. Like, the cops' DoorDash app is going to tell them the driver's name, and DoorDash also has your name and I'm pretty sure your government ID in its archives. So at that point, man, you might as well just walk up to the cops and pull your dick out and slap it on that burrito bowl in front of them. There was no way you weren't going to get caught from this, dude. Let's move on. Our previous stories have detailed people getting in legal trouble for performing social media contaminations in an effort to get clicks. This next case involves such a scenario, but you might be surprised at how hard the government cracked down on them. In April of 2020, a Saudi Arabian prankster and social media figure named Hani Halawani uploaded a short video to Snapchat. In this video, the man can be seen pouring toilet water into a cup of tea and serving it to his wife. There's another friend or family member here too who actually appears to drink the toilet tea. Keep in mind, they all seem to be in their own home during all of this.
لازم نقلب عشان يظبط. تفضل. شكرا. حار انتبهي. الله يسعدك يا رب. انا شليه؟ والله قلت لها ابراهيم يبغى قالت لا ما يبغى. الله يسعدك. ذوقي. تشربوا مع بعض اشربوا عادي. هذا سكر بالشاي بالنعناع. بسم الله. حار.
Hani is a known prankster, and given some of the body language and smirks showcased in this video from the parties being recorded, I have a hard time believing that this video wasn't staged, or at least, the family is in on it in some way. Like, you're not gonna sit here and tell me that these two were furious with this guy after this was recorded. I just don't think that was the case. All in all, even if this is toilet water in the tea, it doesn't hold a candle to anything we've discussed prior in terms of severity or potential harm. Well, when this clip was subsequently posted, it went viral, and it outraged many on social media. It's important to keep in mind, this clip was published right in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, April of 2020. So, everyone was a bit on edge when it comes to this kind of stuff already. Additionally, members of the public believed Hani was setting a bad example for his millions of young followers. They thought he was potentially leading kids to believe that tampering and pranking people with toilet water was an okay thing to do. Now, you might think the consequence for this toilet tea video would end with nothing more than public criticism. But despite the video being filmed in a family residence and nobody in the greater public being in harm's way, there were legal ramifications to contend with as well, in addition to the public shaming. Saudi Arabia is known for its strict laws, and while publishing pranks to social media wasn't technically illegal at this time, it was highly frowned upon, and authorities were known to go after people if the prank stirred up enough controversy, and this was one of those cases. After the Saudi government received reports about the prank, they took action, placing Mr. Halawani under arrest. The man potentially faced some serious time, up to 5 years of imprisonment and a fine of nearly $800,000. I'm tempted to be critical of the Saudis' heavy-handed enforcement regarding their treatment of this toilet water tea distiller. But maybe they're onto something here. I mean, I live in the country where Amaranth is selling beer brewed with her own vaginal yeast. Like, is this the natural endpoint of allowing toilet tea to be a thing? Perhaps the Saudi government might actually know what the fuck they're doing. Thanksgiving is a beloved American holiday, and while personally it's not my favorite, as a fatty at heart, I do look forward to putting down a few plates when the day comes. Our next specimen, however, takes Thanksgiving to another level entirely, celebrating the holiday in his own demented and ravenous fashion. On Thanksgiving Day, this man goes through a werewolf-like transformation, turning into a savage beast hell-bent on eating everything in sight. A horrible holiday monster known as the Thanksgiving Thrasher. It was the evening of Thanksgiving Day, 2019. Dorian Moore, who had already likely consumed an unspeakable amount of calories, enters a Sheetz convenience store in Wilkins Township, Pennsylvania. But it may have just as well been in Transylvania, considering where this story is going. Under the influence of his holiday curse, the man had an insatiable hunger for sweets, goodies, and Thanksgiving treats. In a feral state, Dorian would livestream a rampage of consumption to Facebook, jumping from store shelf to store shelf like a mischievous gremlin, slurping up sweet tea gallons, chomping on ice cream cones and munching on chips, doing so with wanton disregard, carelessly throwing these half-eaten and unpurchased products back on the shelves when he was done with them. The scourge of Thanksgiving ravaged the food supplies of this Sheetz store for close to 20 minutes until he had finally had his fill.
Got it. Test out the drinks. Pretty good, but not my type.
The Thanksgiving Thrasher's video was witnessed by many on Facebook from the local area, almost all of whom were shocked at what they were witnessing. Dorian's food tampering and theft was reported to the local police, who promptly initiated a search for the at-large Thanksgiving cryptid. A Sheetz company spokesman would also make a comment regarding the beastly attack. "We are aware of the incident at Sheetz on William Penn Highway. Sheetz' top priority is the health and well-being of our customers and employees, which includes ensuring the safety and integrity of the food and beverages we serve. All food and beverages opened by the perpetrator were disposed of immediately. Furthermore, Sheetz is fully cooperating with the Wilkins Township Police Department, who will determine charges in this matter." While some likely expected a full-on trek into the wilderness with dog teams and search parties to track down the Thanksgiving Thrasher, what folks didn't realize is when the holiday ends, the curse is lifted, and Dorian would come to his senses. Seeing the video footage on the media, the man was ashamed of himself. What had come over him, he thought. Dorian got into contact with the press, expressing deep sorrow for his actions.
I just definitely want to say that, I apologize from the bottom of my heart. It's definitely something that I don't encourage, and I don't respect myself for doing that. My actions and my behavior that night was deplorable, and I'm very ashamed of that type of behavior that I displayed on there. I do have children, and that's not something that I want them to grow up thinking is okay. So as a man, I need to fess up to say that I let the alcohol get the best of me. And I do apologize.
On top of definitely suffering from a Thanksgiving-specific werewolf curse that I didn't make up, Dorian also suggested his behavior had to do with him being extremely inebriated that night, and he just wanted to make a scene on social media. So he was saying he was really drunk, basically. Wilkins' local police chief and the district attorney were unsatisfied with the man's apology and sought punishment.
I was appalled, to be honest with you. I can't believe any human being would do something so stupid and ignorant and affect so many people inadvertently by his behavior. It's just difficult to look at that and see another human being with the potential of harming others if he had had some disease or something.
While they might have stopped the Thanksgiving Thrasher for now, come November of each year, grocery stores beware. When holiday comes round, your food just might become his. In the death throes of the ice cream licking trend and the rise of COVID, one man had an idea. A new degenerate form of exhibitionism that he hoped would resurrect the great art of licking grocery products. And what might that be? Deodorant Licking. In early March of 2020, right around when the United States was put into lockdown for the pandemic, 26-year-old Missouri man Cody Lee Fitzter entered a Warrenton Walmart location and proceeded to record himself getting freaky with about a dozen or so sticks of deodorant, putting mouth and tongue on more packages than an OnlyFans top 1%er.
Who's scared of coronavirus? Don't touch your mouth.
Cody, whose hairline was apparently recently attacked by a wild animal, taunted the public, claiming he wasn't scared of COVID. Cody posted his video to social media on March 11th, sparking many already COVID-panicked viewers to report him to authorities. Warrenton police, in turn, started receiving calls from all over the world, including places like the Netherlands, Ireland, and the United Kingdom. The Reddit soldiers were truly assembled. On March 23rd of 2020, Cody would be arrested and charged with making a terroristic threat. Police said, quote, "We take this incident very seriously, especially with this infectious disease in the state that the country's in. We take these things seriously to protect our community." Cody's lawyer would tell the media that the date of the video being recorded was exactly one day before the World Health Organization had labeled COVID a pandemic. Quote, "Public conduct that was immature on March 10th looks completely different through the lens of today," unquote. Everything has changed at warp speed, but that should not work retroactively and convert a tasteless and impulsive act into a criminal terrorist threat. So, the lawyer's saying because it technically happened before the full-on pandemic, it should be looked on less as bad. There was a plea hearing scheduled for September 7th of 2021. But other than that, there's no more information provided regarding what exactly happened to Cody. And something makes me think that he never actually got sentenced for this, because he was rearrested in May of 2022 for failure to obey a lawful order, and he was also given a resisting arrest charge as well. In the end, Cody's attempt to resurrect the great art of licking grocery products failed, and like the many others who came before him, he went out like a stupid idiot. Next, we move on to the creme de la creme of clout-seeking contaminators. A young woman who converted her penchant for pissing on groceries into a twisted OnlyFans career that was very much illegal. This is 23-year-old Kelly Tedford of Keene, New Hampshire. Kelly is, or was, a customer at Monadnock Food Co-op grocery store. But little did employees know, Kelly was pissing behind their backs in an elaborate scheme that made her money. Kelly moonlighted as an OnlyFans adult content creator, going by the alias Kinky Kelly. And on this page, she posted some truly reprehensible stuff. Those visits to the grocery store, she was actually contaminating the food with her piss, filming it, publishing this content to the OnlyFans page for people with fucked up kinks to watch. Usually, after she pulled off a successful contamination, she'd post about it to her followers. On screen, you'll see an example of her announcing that she urinated in a betta fish container at Petco, which I could only imagine probably killed the fish sometime afterwards. This disgusting freak bitch was allegedly participating in this type of behavior for years, starting in 2021. On OnlyFans, Kinky Kelly described her work, quote, submissive pixie, fetish/kink friendly, extremes too, unquote. Her account also offered subscribers custom content and paid sexting sessions. Kelly's activity finally caught up to her earlier this year. On February 10th, 2025, Kelly decided to record herself yet again contaminating grocery store surfaces and food. But this session must not have been her best work, because after publishing it, someone following her actually reported it to law enforcement. I'm guessing she had a weak urine stream during this day, and one of the simps threw a tantrum about it.
I paid for a golden shower and you give me this bullshit?
The videos of her perpetrating these sick kink videos would be outed publicly after local authorities received an anonymous report claiming Kelly had, quote, posted disturbing videos to an internet site, unquote. In their investigation, authorities were able to identify Kelly along with the store she defiled, and they quickly alerted the store of her vile tampering. On February 21st, 2025, Kelly was arrested and charged with felony criminal mischief. When questioned, the woman told interviewers that the content she made was her job. That's right, folks, you can make a living by pissing on fucking produce these days. The Monadnock Food Co-op Grocery issued a recall of several packaged organic foods sold to the public, which included quinoa, cornmeal, polenta, coconut shreds, and raw walnuts, all of which had been purchased between the dates of February 10th and February 15th of this year. All affected items were removed from the shelves, and all of the surfaces were completely sanitized. They also notified their customers, telling anyone who purchased affected items should immediately throw them away and come get a refund. Thankfully, it appears that none of the fresh produce or meat was affected. But all in all, the store lost about $1,500 in product after disposing all of the alleged urine-soaked goods. During the coverage, it had been rumored that Kelly was an employee of the establishment, but the co-op has denied this, stating that Kelly Tedford was neither a current nor former employee.
The individual in question is neither a current nor a former Monadnock Food Co-op employee.
The Princess of Piss was later released on a personal recognizance bail, and as the story gained more traction, there were more who would become curious regarding her exploits. In a Reddit post which showcased the photo of Kelly bragging about pissing in the aquariums at Petco, a Redditor would write this: "Oh God, this woman. So I'm from New Hampshire and this is an incredibly strange crossover, but I can shed some light. Bad news, this is real. That right there is Kelly Tedford. Good news is she was already arrested and charged the other day. Not for this, but for contaminating co-op produce with her piss. She does this for OnlyFans money at various locations and on various objects, and she's been doing it for a long time, but finally got caught. Does not surprise me that she'd do this, but it's definitely disturbing, especially since I used to be a CAL in the area. Would be fucking livid to learn that she'd come into my store and done this to my fish." Her Instagram would also get bombarded with hate, with one commenter writing, "You know, you definitely look like someone who'd be pissing all over a grocery store and hotel, and God knows what else." They also found Kelly's old TikTok. Commenters filed in to take shots. "That was so funny, I pissed on my groceries. Oh look, it's the grocery pisser. So funny, I peed on my groceries." Kelly's legal troubles were just getting started, as authorities soon learned that the grocery store wasn't her only personal public toilet. She had more venues. As recently as April 16th of 2025, authorities have discovered more evidence, some of which showcased her at a Marriott hotel in Keene. This footage being recorded in January of this year. In the footage, it's alleged that the woman proceeded to urinate on hotel curtains, a Bible, a comforter, the air conditioner, and other items in the room. She was pissing all over that goddamn room as if her life depended on it. There's also allegations of her shitting on the floor and placing the turd in the top of the toilet. Now that's an interesting approach to an upper decker right there. All of this new information caused her to gain even more charges, which included 5 counts of misdemeanor criminal mischief. Of course, everything mentioned is only alleged. The OnlyFans grocery pisser will have her day in court. Hopefully, she doesn't pee all over the bench. And well, you made it to the end. Let me know what you guys thought about the video down below in the comments section and let me know who or what you want me to talk about next. I want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wavy Web Surf out. Piss.